Central District Court, Yoon appeared in person for the first time in 85 days since his July 3rd appearance on charges of leading an insurrection. The trial started with identity verification and statements from both Yoon and the prosecution. During the bail hearing, his lawyers are expected to cite health concerns and the right to defense, while prosecutors will stress the seriousness of the charges and the risk of evidence tampering. Court proceedings are live-streamed, though the bail hearing will not. In local news, Busan City held a meeting yesterday to review preparations for the expected rise in Chinese group tourists under the new visa-free policy. The number of Chinese visitors to Busan reached about 315,000 as of July, a 36% increase from last year. The Busan Tourism Association plans to strengthen services such as visitor centers, facility inspections, and cruise support. Gimhae Airport will expand Chinese routes, improve facilities, adjust staffing, and enhance Chinese language services. The Immigration Office will secure interpreters and provide training for smoother entry. Busan Tourism Organization will run year-round promotions and expand payment options like WeChat Pay. Vice Mayor Lee Jun-sung said the city aims to reach 3 million foreign visitors sooner than planned. The city of Busan announced that the Busan Concert Hall, the city's first venue dedicated to classical music, welcomed more than 63,000 visitors in its first 100 days since opening on June 20th. Equipped with the first pipe organ installed outside the Seoul metropolitan area, the hall staged 77 performances with a 74% booking rate. Its operating rate of around 60% and seat occupancy of about 84% exceeded national averages, reflecting strong demand. The opening festival featuring Maestro Jung Myung-hoon, pianist Jo Sung-jin, and the Asia Philharmonic Orchestra sold out completely. Membership has already surpassed 30,000, although accessibility issues with ticketing remain a challenge. In international news, the Trump administration is pushing South Korea to meet and expand the $350 billion investment under the July U.S.-Korea trade deal. Trump called the investment upfront and linked it to tariff cuts, citing similar deals with Japan and the EU. U.S. officials are urging more cash contributions and conditions like Japan's $550 billion agreement. Talks remain tense, with Korea wary of currency risks and domestic pressure to limit concessions. And now for today's weather. Current temperatures are 27 degrees Celsius under clear skies. Daytime temperatures will rise up to 29 degrees, making it warmer than usual. That wraps up this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You are listening to BEFM, 부산 영어 방송.
Your best choice. BEFM, 부산 영어 방송.
Coming up next is Busan Worldwide with Stephanie Yoon. BEFM, 부산 영어 방송.
Welcome to Busan Worldwide and good morning. Some things remain unchanged despite the passage of time. The human drive to test the limits of possibility and the deep emotions we feel when witnessing such challenges. The circus is perhaps the most direct expression of this timeless desire. Since its founding in 1984 in Canada, Cirque du Soleil has broken away from the traditions of the circus and opened a new horizon for the performing arts, focusing on the extraordinary abilities of people rather than animals and combining storytelling, music, and stage art. Cirque du Soleil has brought wonder to more than 400 million people across 86 countries on 6 continents. Now, Cirque du Soleil's Kuja has chosen Busan as the first stop in Korea. 네, 태양의 서커스 쿠자가 아시아 투어 중 한국에선 부산을 첫 무대로 선택했는데요. Busan has long hosted international events such as BIF, right, and the Busan Biennale, and has proven its global competitiveness by hosting the UNESCO World Heritage Committee and the World Championships of Magic. Busan's proven cultural openness, international outlook, and above all, the welcoming spirit of its citizens have now met Cirque du Soleil. This marks a new cultural milestone, one that will showcase Busan's dynamic energy and artistic depth to the world. Well, this is Busan Worldwide, and I'm your host, Stephanie Yoon.
This is Busan Worldwide, your window into Busan, your bridge to the world.
That's right. You're listening to Busan Worldwide Live this Friday morning, September 26th, here on BEFM Busan 영어 방송, 90.5 FM in Busan and 103.3 FM in Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. Now, Kuja transports audiences into a world filled with laughter, wonder, and awe. In many ways, Kuja and Busan are alike. Both thrive on energy and excitement. And the artists of Kuja didn't just perform on stage. They connected with people all across the city. 네, 쿠자 아티스트들은 무대뿐만 아니라 부산 곳곳에서 시민들과 소통했는데요. Before the premiere, they greeted citizens at 해운대 Beach with striking poses and even transformed a major premium outlet into a performing space. Though language was different, art brought everyone together as one. So today in the interview, we'll be joined by Jei미슨 린덴버그, the artistic director of Kuja, to hear about these special encounters with Busan, the meaning behind them, and the magical world of Kuja now beginning its journey with Korean audiences. Well, before we jump into the interview, let's talk about today's text topic. When planning an event, what do you think is the most important factor in bringing people together? For example, it could be just the content itself, or word of mouth, or online promotion. Sometimes chicken coupons also help. We have What님 messaging in saying, I got the chicken coupon from Busan Worldwide yesterday. Congrats again. 네, 오늘의 문자 주제입니다. 이벤트를 진행할 때 많은 사람들과 함께 하려면 무엇이 가장 중요하다고 생각하시나요? 예를 들면 콘텐츠 본질이 있고요. 입소문, 온라인 홍보 같은 게 있겠죠. And you can send those messages to pound 9050 for 101 or for free through Kakao Talk or YouTube live chat. We do have Benny messaging in and TV Jerry saying hello TGIF. Yes, indeed. It is Friday. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday morning so far. And we have Jungman님 messaging in. Kuja was the most stunning show ever. So I figure you have been to it, maybe here in Busan. Tell me more about it as we speak about it during the interview. And we also have Benny Nim saying for text topic answer, for me, online promotions and even just promotions like broadcasting promotions will be better to promote and plan an event. Indeed, every promotion helps, right? And ads. Well, thank you so much for messaging in. Continue to do so as we jump into our main segment, The Interview. And now it's time for The Interview. The power of art lies in breaking boundaries. Different languages and cultures fade before true art. On a 726-kilo wheel, performers blur the line between life and death. clowns use wit to unite stage and audience. Live music turns acrobatics into art. That's why Cirque du Soleil's Kuza captivates audiences worldwide. Its world of duality mirrors Busan, I would say, a global maritime city of dynamic energy where tradition and modernity meet. So today we sit down with Jameson 린덴버그, the artistic director of Kuza, to uncover the stories behind the show. 네, 태양의 서커스 쿠자는 단순한 고개가 아니라 철학과 메시지가 담긴 종합 예술로 전 세계 관객들을 사로잡고 있습니다. 오늘도 인터뷰에선 제이미슨 린덴버그 쿠자 예술감독과 함께 무대 뒤 숨어있는 수많은 이야기들을 나눠보겠습니다. Hello and welcome.
Hello, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio today.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, could you briefly introduce yourself to the listeners of Busan Worldwide and tell us about your role in Cirque du Soleil's Kuza?
Absolutely. As an artistic director, some people may say, this sounds like a made-up title. What exactly does an artistic director do? But technically, I'm responsible for the artistic integrity of the show. I lead a group of 60 people as 53 artists and then a team of artistic colleagues of mine from performance medicine, coaching, and performance medicine, and we uphold not just the artistic integrity of the original creators from 2007, which is David Shiner is our original director and conceiver of the show. We operationally lead and work on the day-to-day challenges of the show. So it's always a flexible, challenging role in day-to-day operations. But yeah, that's my main job as an artistic director with Kuza.
Okay. You know, it's such a, like you mentioned, fascinating role. And you mentioned that it's the original version of Kuza, but also like evolving, right? And
Constantly.
Yeah, constantly evolving for today's audiences.
That's correct. And some people who maybe have seen a Kuza before in Seoul or in other places where we are constantly evolving the show. A great example of that would be our clowns, the clown acts, with such movements like Me Too, or with the evolution of the human spirit and condition. We're constantly looking at reactions of where we travel, the people, local cultures, and how the human experience is evolving to adapt our shows and our content, as well as an example, the clown act. So there might be nuances and changes based on the human experience. And Kuza is kind of all about the human experience. So it's an interesting part of my job to relook and to constantly be the barometer, I guess, of content and feeling and where we are as a humanity and how that reflects, I guess, on a stage. Not just a new show or a new piece, but something that's been around for a long time. So it's a big part of the job, I guess, to have a pulse on humanity. Yeah.
Interesting indeed. Now, I was looking at some of the interviews that you've had before, and I read that before, a long time ago, you were actually an usher at a circus. You got fired.
That's right.
And then now you're back as an artistic director. Can you tell us a bit about that?
For sure. I studied acting and musical theater. It was an easier transition, I think, as a performer into an artistic director, as many probably do. And so I was at a performing arts high school, and Cirque du Soleil actually came to recruit for ushers and local staff, as we do when we arrive to a city. And so I was an usher for the show called Kidam. I was 16 years old, and I was late for my second shift, and I was let go. And to be honest, I kind of moved on from that experience and went to study theater. And years later, I found myself in New York doing an open audition as a vocalist for Cirque du Soleil, and the show was Kidam. And so it was a bit of a full circle moment that, 10, 12 years later, I was a front runner, performer for Cirque du Soleil. And that was the same show. So now, through my tenure at Cirque, I've been an usher, a performer, and an artistic director.
And now you can say, I started from the bottom, now I'm here. Yes.
It's a little embarrassing.
No, but it's a great story.
But it is a very interesting Easter egg for myself, or, kind of my legacy. Yeah,
I love it.
But wow. I think it shows the passion and the love for the company and the belief in the company that people stay with a show or with the company for so long. I mean, this is my 15th, almost 16th year with Cirque. So, people, we're really gravitated toward the familial vibe or the kind of family which has roots in obviously circus, but Kuza is the same way. It's a show that is totally rooted in traditional circus and is an homage to the circus of circus, if you will. So viewers that maybe have seen it could probably relate to some of the larger acts that you see in the show, like the High Wire and the Wheel of Death. And there's a traditional elements in the show that I think we really pay homage to. So yeah, it's a pleasure and an honor to be a part of the company for such a long time.
Great to hear. And we will be talking about a little bit more about the clowns and the Wheel of Death during the interview. But before that, during your last visit to Korea, the show was staged only in Seoul.
That's right.
But this time, you chose Busan as the first stop here in Korea. So how did it feel to meet Busan audiences first, and how is their reaction?
Yeah, I think obviously not obvious to you, but for us, for visitors, South Koreans, I feel, are extremely vocal and very excited.
Okay.
They share that with sounds, automated sounds. Yes, you just did one. You just did one.
Reactive.
I think it's so cultural, maybe, but for when you transition from another place in the world, such as Europe, that may be a little, I'm not sure, share their emotions differently. When you arrive, it's really special for us. It's an immediate. Performers thrive on that immediate connection and reaction with an audience. And so to hear that is very special for us. So that's the first thing. Particularly Busan, I feel like most coastal places, it may be the sun, it may be the sea, but there's a vibe for sure in Busan that is warm and inviting. And I feel that we feel that for sure. They feel that on the stage. So it feels really great to kick off. Seoul is busy and a city and metro. And it feels like this is the kind of beautiful younger sister.
Right.
Or maybe that's the hip sister. Seoul is the hipster.
But laid back.
Maybe Busan's more like the auntie, the cool auntie.
Of course.
So we kind of feel that it's a great way to transition into our very exciting and long run in Seoul, which we hope to see many people there in Seoul.
It's wonderful to hear that Busan's audiences have been so responsive. And I do think it's a very Korean thing in a good way. Even when you watch TV shows, there's a lot of like laughter or there's a lot of ahs, right?
Sure.
And I'm sure that's very helpful to performers indeed.
Absolutely.
Well, I've heard that Kuza means box or treasure.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
So can you talk about how that is understood by like experiencing the show, and what do you think is the greatest charm of Kuza?
It does. It's Sanskrit for box.
Okay.
And the show kind of opens with the innocent character. He's living in a life of black and white, kind of maybe a bit dull, mundane, repetitive. And he's delivered a box on stage, and inside the box lives the character of the trickster. For me, the trickster kind of represents that spark that some people may be waiting for to take them out of their mundane, their dull, day-to-day, robotic kind of world we may live in, we seem. And so I feel what's special is that we may be all waiting for that spark, and Kuza is literally that spark, could be that spark for people.
Right.
To get lost, to completely lose yourself in the fantasy of Kuza and entertainment. So yeah, I think metaphorically it's really beautiful for times right now. Times can be a bit hard globally. I think we're all feeling a bit like that. And so our goal and our hope and my goal for if anything is that our audiences are touched and taken away, and that your cares are left at the door, and you enjoy this fantasy for 2 hours of entertainment. And so I think that's one of the most special parts about Kuza, for sure.
I love that. And I guess it doesn't just stay in the circus, that meaning and significance, but you can take it home with you or into your lives as well.
In your own personal box.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you did mention that themes of Kuza are like communication and joy of dual worlds. So what message do you hope audiences take away from the performance?
I think it's it's personal strength and empowerment. Life is full of choices, but I feel that Kuza really teaches me about self-discovery, life and death, dark and light, and the space between that. And I think that it is about a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. And I hope that's something that resonates with audiences. It's something that we work on and that we try and bestow into the show. Part of my job as well is connecting those dots for the artists and in the scenes to hopefully they ring true and land and are meaningful for our audiences. But one of the biggest messages, I think, is self-discovery and self-empowerment. Yeah.
I like that. And it's not just entertainment. It's inspiring.
That's right.
Yeah.
I hope it is. And I hope that, okay, we have a story. It's non-linear. But the death-defying acts really are what kind of set Cirque du Soleil, I think, apart from other circuses and other live entertainment. And the discipline, the craft, the skill level for these artists that spend their whole lives and generations training for what they do. And they put their lives at risk literally every day.
Yeah.
It's it's something that even if I've seen the show 150, 400,000 times, I still get sweaty palms.
Right.
I still am at the edge of my seat in some moments because I know how challenging or how focused someone needs to be in those moments. So it's again, it's the duality. It's the death-defying act followed by a really lighthearted moment, laugh, or beautiful music that's being sung before you. It's kind of all of those encompassing elements that kind of make Cirque du Soleil.
Right, with a message as well.
With a message,
wow.
yeah. And every show is so contrasting and different. And I think that's one of the biggest maybe misconceptions is that, I've seen Cirque du Soleil. I saw that show.
Yeah.
But there are 12 plus shows globally in Las Vegas and Hawaii, anew in Mexico. There's so many different shows with different messages, different themes. And I think it's really interesting to explore. So hopefully we'll be back with a different show in the next few years. Yeah, for sure.
And I do have a lot of people around me who watch to Here in Busan, and a lot of them say it was so great, and most of them talk about the Wheel of Death,
of course. Yes.
But then they say, I can't wait to see it again, right? And they are excited
for
Here in Busan, for us to have that kind of show. It's amazing to see. So let us talk about Wheel of Death.
The Wheel of Death.
Yes. So it creates incredible intensity. So how do the performers achieve such perfect coordination? And I hear the wheel, just one wheel, it weighs 1,600 pounds.
Yes.
And for our listeners, that's about 726 kilos.
It's heavy. And a huge misconception is that the apparatus is actually propelled by a motor, and it's not. It's all done by body weight and by centrifugal force, and that's one of the most impressive elements is that the artists spend years training before they join a professional circus, mainly as children, generationally. So, for example, 3 of these artists here learned from their fathers, learned from their mothers, or, this is the 5th or 6th generation at Kuza. In the Wheel of Death, for example, they train in pairs in different versions constantly.
Right.
So we have a team, again, part of the artistic department is coaching, and the coach works in tandem with the artist to make sure, obviously, we're, in shape and we're training the correct versions. But the wheel is quite impressive, and it really relies on total coordination, communication that you probably can't hear during the show.
Of course.
Oh, the music's so loud that they're yelling or shouting to each other. They're communicating during the show. More speed, less speed, hold there. It's a constant. I think that's one of the most impressive elements for me. Is witnessing the communication nightly between everyone. But we can talk about that later too.
How about the design? Can you tell us about the design?
Of the wheel, yes. All of our acrobatic apparatus are all fabricated in Montreal at our headquarters by designers, engineers, and the fabrication department. This is our 6th wheel, I believe. So every few years we get a new wheel or new equipment just to make sure that they're up to safety code and that they're functioning correctly. When an apparatus is shipped to us, then we have to weigh it, balance it, calibrate it. The artists train to make sure it's completely correct. Things might be off. Don't forget, we're in a tent as well. We're in a parking lot. And so wind and weather, all of those things around us, we're not in a theater, kind of affect every day. So we're constantly recalibrating our apparatus to make sure it's not just safe, but it's functioning well for the artist. So when something is fabricated, it is really detail-oriented. It is, there's a lot of time spent on the details of the apparatus from the wheel to the high wires to everything at Kuza.
It's remarkable how much like thought, but also communication, teamwork goes into creating acts like Wheel of Death. But just hearing it, because I've seen just videos of Wheel of Death, like the two, I guess, rings, and hearing you speak about it, it makes me like get sweaty palms. And I feel nervous listening to it.
It happens. And that particularly in this, moment in the show, we kind of start in a light, bright area in Act 1, and then we head to kind of a darker space at the top of Act 2. There's a skeleton dance where like kind of in between life and death.
Right.
The wheel kind of represents cyclicals. There's a lot of, you'll see themes of circles in the show with hoops and the wheel, and there's a lot of, I think, representation of life cycles. And so it's a dark moment for some, the wheel, but it's also an important moment for people metaphorically, maybe, that overcoming the
I love that.
I love your reaction. This is exactly what we're talking about. These moments, that's a great example of, when the design, the act, the music all comes together to evoke a feeling, for example, which might be something that's super death-defying and dangerous. They overcome it, we celebrate it, and then we continue in the rest of the act toward ascension, which we have a hand balancer on chairs who kind of is maybe working their way up into the heavens. So we kind of, although Kuza is a non-linear story, there's definitely a theme about a cycle, a journey of life.
Yeah. Suffering, and then there's a little bit of like redemption,
and overcoming, and then we find lightness, we find goodness.
And I love that I get to hear with our listeners here in the studio with artistic director of Kuza directly from him. Now let's talk a bit about the clowns, right? So you mentioned that they are very special, of course, but they're the humorous, witty participation. But I haven't actually been in with the audiences. So can you tell us about them? Do they sit with the audiences? Like, how does it?
They are disruptors. They're trouble. Historically, clowns' roles are to distract, right? There's something happening behind the scenes. Something's not functioning right. Get the clowns out there. Push the clowns out. The clowns are the disruptors. When you look at vaudeville or you look at historical theater, they have a specific role, and it's obviously David Shiner, who is our creator and director, is a clown, and so I feel like it's no secret that clowns take the forefront of Kuza. It's one of the main, it's a staple of the show. So they're all over, and I think there are magical surprises and moments where clowns could be anywhere, next to you, behind you, in front of you. It's kind of it's a surprise. I don't want to give too much away for those who haven't seen.
How many of them?
There are 3 clowns, and it's kind of a Wizard of Oz moment where people in the beginning of the show come back as something else during the show. So without giving too much away, the clowns start as other personages or other characters, and then they reappear in the show as a king, for example, or sidekicks, henchmen to the king. So it's. Yeah, they always keep us on our feet as well. Whether it's the follow spot operators trying to find where they are that night, that's always a challenge. I would say they're a little naughty, a fun challenge. But to interact with the audience and to bring you all in, I think is their main goal as disruptors. Lovely disruptors.
All right. Well, listeners, we are in the studio with Jameson Rindenberg, the artistic director of Kuza, and we are talking about all the stories behind the show. Now, what challenges did you face while preparing Kuza, and how did you overcome them?
Well, kind of like we were saying before, every day our team, the artistic team, gets a lineup, a roster of the show. So I would say every day there's a small fire or a challenge to kind of put out or address based on who's out of the show, who's in the show. Maybe someone has the flu that day, so we have to rearrange where people go.
Right.
Maybe acts change here and there. So we're constantly adapting, and we're constantly trying to put the best show out, that we can forward. But those kind of challenges come. It's all of the time for us, But we overcome them with the focus of a team and with really, really, really incredible colleagues and coworkers that have incredible focus and bring skills to the table that keep us creatively thinking and putting our best foot forward always.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And it's clear that teamwork is at the heart of overcoming all challenges. And we have been talking a lot about teamwork. Now, I do want to talk about how you've also spent some time here in Busan for the show. So what do you find most appealing about the city? Maybe like the people, food? Just tell us anything.
Yes, you have to help me with the pronunciation of the temple. Haedong Temple.
Yongsa, yes.
Wow, I'm sure everyone's like, oh, yawn. It's so local for you. But for foreigners and for visitors, that temple by the sea is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. But you can really feel a vibration, or you can really feel something special about this place. Totally spiritual.
Yeah.
It's also really special to see the statues of sea creatures and animals, which is really not typical.
Sometimes like hidden around the rocks as
Really
well.
cool.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. Very special place. I really enjoyed that. Of course, the beach, the strip of the beach with the street food has been really special for us. Late night, we get out pretty late from the show. So it's really, for us, great, especially in South Korea. There's a late night culture, I feel, here.
Yeah.
It's kind of different from North America or Europe, some places. So it's really great for us to be able to go and de-stress after work and have some late food and enjoy the sights and sounds of Busan. Yeah, it's been special.
That's great to hear because back in Arizona, everything would close at 9 p.m.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So then here, you get to finish the show and go enjoy maybe like,
Absolutely.
What have you been enjoying?
Oh man, oh my gosh. I don't remember the names, but there's skewer of everything delicious.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Spicy stuff as well.
Spicy. I mean, obviously there's I do enjoy Korean food in the States or anywhere I travel, but like kimchi in South Korea,
it's different.
It hits differently for sure.
Yes. Well, we are really looking forward to more productions from Cirque du Soleil, especially here in Busan. But do you have any plans for new show after Kuza?
Oh, touring shows. You'll have to stay tuned with what show may be in the roster next in South Korea. But Cirque du Soleil is working on 2 shows right now. There's one permanent show in Berlin named Alizé.
Okay.
It's kind of a Nouvelle Magique. It's a new magic type of a show with, of course, acrobatics and all of the treats delivered by Cirque du Soleil, acrobatics. But there's this kind of homage to illusion and to the 1920s and 30s of illusion. It's quite incredibly beautiful. I saw some of the sneak peek photos. That's called Alizé. And then in Mexico, there's a new aquatic show. So Cirque is pretty known for its water shows, as you may have seen in Las Vegas. Always a really famous show. And so for those who maybe are traveling to Mexico, there's a new show called Ludo, 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 and that will open pretty soon.
Ludo.
Yes, and it's a reverse immersive experience. So instead of the stage having water down in front, the water is surrounding you, kind of like an aquatic tank. So it's a dinner show as well. So the audience gets to sit and eat, and then the action happens kind of around you. So it's the first of its kind, and we're really excited as a company and as a brand to launch this show. Yeah, so for those traveling abroad, those are the 2 new things coming up for Cirque du Soleil.
Wow. So a permanent show in Berlin and dinner show in Mexico. And for Busan here, Kuza Performances is wrapping up this weekend, right?
Yes.
So, you can check it out actually in Seoul until December 28th. So is there a message you'd like to maybe leave with our listeners, your Korean audiences, especially the people of Busan? Before I ask you though, we have like messages like Watnim saying, I hope maybe I'll just kind of walk around in Santam City so I can run into artistic director. So there's a lot of people saying maybe I'll run into him, for Kuza.
It would be a pleasure.
And maybe TVJ name saying, will you give me an autograph?
Oh, that's so kind. I am not. I wish I were famous. No, I don't.
Very cool.
That's very kind.
Can you give us a message? Yeah.
I would say just a really heartfelt thank you to, do you say Busanis?
Yeah, Busanites.
Busanites,
Yeah.
to your warmth and your hospitality for us. As I was saying, to kick off the leg or to kick off the tour in this city has been a bright, literally, pun intended, spot for us as a company of cousins. And so, I would just really say thank you so much for your warmth and for the support and the love in the house and for Kuza and for Cirque. And we really hope to see you this weekend. If you can't make it to Seoul, there's still some space these last few shows here to come check out Cirque du Soleil and check out the little Easter eggs that we were talking about today during the performance.
Right.
And thank you, Busan. It's been a real pleasure. We hope at Cirque du Soleil to bring a new show to you in a few years. Fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely. We are really excited to have you back if you can. And yes, I'm sure a lot of listeners would be excited to that as well. So that's going to do it for today's The Interview with Jameson Lindenberg, the artistic director of Kuza. Thank you so much for being here with us
Thank you.
today.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
All right. With that, let's take a quick song break. This is 윤건 with 가을에 만나.
여름이 가고 가을이 올 때면 해운대 밤바람 불어오네요. 파도 거품 속에 담긴 네 모습 오륙도 넘어 지난 여름에 처음 너를 느꼈죠. 아직도 두 눈이 너를 기억해. 아득하게 빛이 났던 네 눈빛 닮아지 넘어 우리 만나면 파도 거품 맥주 한 잔 너와 단둘이 우린 다시 또 걸어가고 있죠. 그대와 가을에 만나 여름이 가고 가을이 올 때면 해운대 별빛이 내려오네요. 다정하게 들린 너의 목소리 백사장 넘어 지난 여름에 처음 너를 느꼈죠. 아직도 두 눈이 너를 기억해. 부드럽게 날린 너의 머릿결 수평선 넘어 우리 만나면 파도 거품 맥주 한 잔 너와 단둘이 우린 다시 또 걸어가고 있죠. 그대와 가을에 만나 우리 만나면 파도 거품 맥주 한 잔 너와 단둘이 우린 다시 또 걸어가고 있죠. 그대와 가을에 만나
And that was 가을에 만나 by 윤건. Welcome back to Busan Worldwide. I'm your host, Stephanie Yoon. And listeners, we just had an interview with Jameson Lindenberg, the artistic director of Kuza. And talking about Kuza, we have a lot of listeners saying that they went to Kuza. We have Jay Limni messaging in. I watched Kuza 2 days ago. He went and Wheel of Death was awesome. I would love to see it in person. I only saw videos. We have Kim Hyun-jung-님 saying, one of my friends, she went there and she said the show was just really interesting. I want to watch the show as well. You still have a chance here in Busan. The last shows are this weekend, and a director mentioned that there are few seats still available. So if you want to check it out, do so. We also have Jay Bong-lim messaging in, and also What-님 saying, oh, actually, 린덴버그 감독님 기사 찾아서 읽어보니까요, Florida 출신이네요. So basically, he is from Sunshine State. So of course, he deserves to be part of Cirque du Soleil. Yes. And we also have Kosu님 saying hello, hello. A lot of messages coming in. And let me check it out. Park Ji-won-님 saying hello, hello as well. Now, we have What-님 messaging in about today's text topic question. So when bringing and planning an event, what do you think is the most important factor in bringing people together? So maybe word of mouth, online promotion, or just the content itself. 네, 오늘 문자 주제였죠. 이벤트를 진행할 때 많은 사람들과 함께 하려면 무엇이 가장 중요하다고 생각하시나요? So we have What-님 saying, so to bring people together, we need some kind of like a clique. And if those people are sharing common goals or purposes with empathy, it is viable. Absolutely. Just bringing people together with like a common goal or purpose. If you all love one thing, we can have the event about that. So that makes sense. And also have 사랑대요님 saying depends on the type of the event though, but clear purpose must be meaningful and memorable. Absolutely, I agree with you. Well, thank you so much for sending those messages, everyone. And with that, let's jump into Busan Update. And now it's time for Busan Update. Busan is now accepting applications for its fourth quarter housing loan and interest support program for newlyweds. 부산시는 올해 4분기 신혼부부 주택융자 및 대출이자 지원사업의 대상자를 오늘부터 10월 13일까지 모집합니다. So the program launched in 2020 helps ease housing costs and supports family-friendly living for newlyweds without homes. It offers up to 2.0% interest support and a maximum of 4 million won in loan interest per year for 2 years with possible extensions up to 10 years. Now, a total of 400 households will be selected this quarter, and if the applications exceed that number, a random draw will be held. Eligible applicants are newlyweds married within 7 years or engaged couples planning to marry within 3 years or 3 months with resident registration in Busan as of today. Applications are accepted through BNK Busan Bank's mobile app until 4 p.m. on October 13th, and results will be announced on October 15th on the city's website. And now Busan will open the cultural complex called 도모헌 to the public during the Chuseok holiday. 부산시는 추석 연휴를 맞아 10월 5일부터 복합문화공간 도모헌을 시민들에게 특별 개방합니다. So from October 5th to 9th, visitors can enjoy the historic site once used as a presidential villa and mayor's residence, which returned to the public after 40 years. All areas of 도모헌 will be open, and including a stepped lecture hall showing archival videos, the garden for strolling, free exhibitions, and cafe lounge. Opening hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. A free shuttle bus will run every 30 minutes between Namcheon Station Exit 1 to 도모헌, with schedules available on the official website. Parking is free from 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., but visitors are encouraged to use public transportation. And that's it for today's Busan Update.
BEFM's The Interview is waiting for your participation. If you have any interesting stories to tell or unique experiences you'd like to share with our listeners, please leave a message on our website at www.befm.or.kr. We hope that your lives and experiences can be an inspiration for our listeners.
From the heart of Busan to the pulse of the world, global city, local voices, this is Busan Worldwide.
And now it's time for News Insight. It's our Friday segment here at Busan Worldwide. And as always, we're joined by 양보원 reporter at 부산일보. 양보원 기자님, 안녕하십니까?
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다. So let's jump into our topic for today. Celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, the Busan International Film Festival is being hailed as a major commercial success. So that's our focus today. 네, 올해로 30회를 맞은 부산국제영화제가 흥행몰이에 성공했다는 평가가 나온다는데요. 오늘은 이 내용 알아보겠습니다.
네, 부산을 뜨겁게 달궜던 2주간의 북국제가 오늘 아쉽게도 막을 내립니다. 네. 그간 오픈토크와 무대 인사가 수시로 열리는 야외 무대에는 국내외 스타들을 눈앞에서 만나려는 팬들로 붐볐습니다. 정한석 집행위원장은 예년 분위기와 비교해달라는 요청에 비교 자체가 불가능하다며 역대급 거장과 스타들로 채워진 게스트 라인업에 관람객들이 반응도 좋았다고 강조했습니다.
그렇군요. 정말 역대급 축제였는데요. So the two-week festival which heated up Busan is drawing to a close today, and the outdoor stages where open talks and stage greetings were frequently held were packed with fans eager to see domestic and international stars up close. Now, when asked to compare this year's atmosphere to previous years, Executive Director Chung Han-seok stated, a comparison is impossible, emphasizing the response was excellent, particularly to the guest lineup filled with legendary masters and stars. Well, they really placed particular emphasis on inviting high-profile guests, and the response was indeed overwhelming. So let's hear a bit about that. 이번 영화제는 특히 게스트 초청에 공을 들였다고 하는데 반응도 뜨거웠죠?
네, 그렇습니다. 실제로도 흥행을 주도한 요인으로 화려한 게스트 면면이 꼽힙니다. 특히 매기강 감독이 오픈토크 때에는 몰려든 취재진과 팬들로 통행이 어려울 정도였습니다. K-pop 데몬 헌터스 아시죠?
네.
K-pop 데몬 헌터스로 전 세계 K-pop 열풍을 일으킨 강 감독은 개막식 참석부터 시작해서 싱얼롱 상영회, 오픈토크까지 소화하며 흥행을 이끌었습니다.
그렇군요. So the impressive guest lineup is widely seen as the main driver of the festival's success. The prime example was director Maggie Kang's open talk, where the crowd of journalists and fans were so large that it was difficult to move through the area. Now, he gained Kang, who gained global fame with K-pop Demon Hunters, helped propel the festival by appearing at the opening ceremony, a sing-along screening, and the open talk as well. Well, film enthusiasts seeking a deeper engagement flock to encounters with master filmmakers as well. 영화를 깊이 탐구하고 싶은 시네필들은 거장들과의 만남에 몰렸다고요?
네, 그렇습니다. 세르게이 로즈니차, 줄리에 비노시 감독 등을 만나는 마스터 클래스가 대표적입니다. 저도 지금 비프 취재 중인데 네. 어제 세르게이 로즈니차 감독이 두 검사를 봤는데요. 스탈린 대숙청 시기의 부패를 파헤쳐서 정의를 실현하려는 젊은 검사의 이야기입니다. 전반은 형무소의 몇 시간이 배경이고 후반은 모스크바 출장길을 다룹니다. 비판적 시선이 바탕에 깔렸지만 영화는 고발보다는 목격에 중점을 두고 있었습니다. 무채색의 벽과 문, 복도가 풍기는 감시, 고문, 공포의 감정이 영화를 보는 내내 각인되는 것 같았어요. 개인의 신념이 부서지고 혁명이 변질되는 현실을 어떻게 받아들여야 할지 생각하는 계기가 되기도 했습니다. 블랙 유머를 싹 제거한 서늘한 작품이라는 생각이 들었습니다.
그렇군요. So the masterclass featuring directors like Sergei Loznitsa and Juliette Binoche is a prime example. And our reporter actually watched a Sergei's the two prosecutors yesterday, and she shared about how it's a story of a young prosecutor trying to achieve justice by uncovering corruption during the period of Great Purge. And she mentioned that it was definitely reflecting on how to accept the reality of personal beliefs being shattered and a revolution being corrupted. And it's a chilling work completely devoid of black humor. Well, could you also introduce director Juliette Binoche's new work? 이 줄리엣 비노시 감독의 신작도 소개해 주시겠죠?
네, 줄리엣 비노시 감독 신작 이나의 인모션은 제가 이틀 전에 봤던 영화인데요.
네.
무용극을 준비하는 내용이 다큐멘터리입니다. 무대 준비 과정은 단순히 외면이 대사와 동작을 익히는 시간으로 표현되진 않고요. 각자의 경험과 트라우마까지 대면하는 내면의 작업으로 보였습니다. 7개월에 걸친 치열한 준비 과정을 담은 다큐멘터리와 2008년 공연 실황까지 엮어서 17년 후에 줄리엣 비노시가 다큐멘터리 이나의 인모션으로 재탄생시켰습니다.
그렇군요. 설명을 들으니까 저도 기회가 된다면 한번 보고 싶은데요. So director Juliette Binoche's In I In Motion is a documentary about preparing a dance drama. So the process of preparing for the stage is not just about, the lines and movements, but there was a lot of experiences and traumas that was shown. And the documentary, she mentioned that it was woven together with the live performance from 2008, and 17 years later, it was released as a documentary In I In Motion. Well, your explanation makes me want to see if I do get the chance. But what other popular programs did BIF have? 부산국제영화제 인기 프로그램은 또 어떤 게 있었죠?
네, 유명 배우인 강동원, 매기강, 손석희, 봉준호 등 각계 저명 인사들이 최애 영화를 만나는 까르트 블랑슈도 인기였습니다. 멸종 위기라는 말이 나올 정도로 한국 영화 산업이 어려운 가운데 열린 영화제인 만큼 영화인과 팬들의 관심과 애정이 위기 속에서 높아진 점도 흥행 요소로 꼽힙니다. 이는 단순한 영화 관람을 넘어서 위기 원인을 진단하고 대책을 논의하는 포럼 비프와 영화와 콘텐츠 거래가 진행되는 아시아 콘텐츠 앤 필름 마켓이 연일 장사진을 이루는 것으로 이어졌습니다.
그렇군요. Now, she mentioned Carte Blanche, where you can discover favorite films of prominent figures from various fields, such as 강동원, 매기강, 손석희, and 봉준호, was very popular. And since the festival was held at a time when Korean film industry is struggling to the point where some say it's endangered, the increased interest and affection from filmmakers and fans is also cited as a factor in success. And there was an unexpected visitor this time, wasn't there? 이번엔 예상치 못한 손님도 찾아왔다고 하던데요?
네, 그렇습니다. 영화 산업을 살리기 위한 지원을 여러 차례 공언한 이재명 대통령이 깜짝 방문과 영화 관람도 부국제 이목을 끈 요인으로 꼽힙니다. 저도 사전에 공지받지 못했었는데요.
네.
이 대통령은 개막 나흘째인 지난 20일 오후 영화의 전당에서 부인 김혜경 여사와 함께 영화를 관람했습니다.
그렇군요. 영화제를 향한 관심과 기대가 어느 정도인지 잘 보여지는 것 같은데요. So the surprise visit and film viewing by President Lee Jae-myung, who was repeatedly pledged to support to revitalize the film industry, is also cited as a factor that really drew attention to BIF. On the evening of the 20th, the fourth day of the opening, President Lee watched a film with his wife, First Lady Kim Hae-kyung, and also at the Busan Cinema Center. While the success of BIF was ultimately possible because of the high-quality films screened, wasn't it? 결국 부산국제영화제가 흥행할 수 있었던 건 무엇보다도 완성도 높은 상영작들이 있었기 때문에 가능했죠?
네, 그렇습니다. 세계 거장들이 최신작을 소개하는 아이콘 섹션에는 역대 최다인 33편이 초청됐습니다. 경쟁 부문 도입과 부산 어워드 시상은 영화제 후반부까지 부국제의 흥행을 주도했습니다.
네. So the icon section, which introduces the latest works by world masters, invited a record 33 films. The introduction of the competition section and the presentation of the Busan Award led the success of BIF through the latter half of the festival. 네, 오늘 내용 정리하고 마무리해 볼게요.
네, 올해로 30회를 맞은 부산국제영화제가 흥행몰이에 성공했다는 평가가 나옵니다. 영화에 좀 더 깊이 빠져들려는 시네필들은 부국제로 몰렸습니다. 강동원, 매기강, 손석희, 봉준호 등 각계 저명 인사들이 최애 영화를 만나는 까르트 블랑슈도 인기였습니다. 이재명 대통령이 부국제를 방문해서 영화 제작 생태계가 나빠지고 있다는데 정부도 영화 산업이 근본부터 충분히 성장할 수 있게 관심을 갖겠다고 말하기도 했습니다. 부국제는 아쉽게도 오늘 저녁 폐막식을 마지막으로 막을 내리는데요. 아쉬움 속에서 내년을 기약해 보겠습니다.
네, 오늘 전해주신 소식 덕분에 영화제 뜨거운 현장을 새내기 느낄 수 있었는데요. 감사합니다. So the Busan International Film Festival celebrated 30th anniversary this year, and BIF will continue and conclude tonight with the closing ceremony. So we do look forward to it next year as well. And that's going to do it for today's News Insight with Ms. 양보원 기자님. 오늘 고맙습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
All right, and before we wrap up, a lot of messages coming in. Let me read one of them. 재봉리님 쌤, 이번에 세븐브릿지 행사 예매 티켓이 1분 만에 매진되었는데요. 저는 이 소식을 BFM을 통해서 접했던 기억이 납니다. BFM으로 홍보하면 대박이 나나 봅니다. 라고 보내셨는데요. Yes, that is answered to one of our questions today, and I absolutely agree. So thank you so much, listeners. And tomorrow we will be back, and also on Monday live in the studio. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday. And we'll see you and hope you have a wonderful day today. Bye-bye.
Your best choice. BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
안녕하세요. 현대해상 모델 이정재입니다. 70년 현대해상의 여정을 함께해 주신 모든 분들께 감사드립니다. 모든 분들의 하루하루가 더 나은 삶으로 채워지도록 앞으로도 변함없이 마음이 합니다. 현대해상.
무심코 버린 담배꽁초. 어디로 가게 될까요? 세계 연간 담배 생산량 중 3분의 2가 길거리에 버려집니다. 이 꽁초들은 빗물과 바람에 의해 하수구로 흘러들어가 바다로 향합니다. 결국 우리 식탁 위로 되돌아옵니다. 쓰레기통에 버리면 환경이 살고, 무단으로 투기하면 환경이 죽습니다. 이 캠페인은 부산 환경공단이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요?